Hey, this is KJ with Eye of the Daytime. I'm just sitting here thinking about how people are going through chart activations as we will be dealing with Uranus and Gemini, and we are already dealing with Pluto and Aquarius. We had a taste of Uranus and Gemini, and Uranus and Gemini will be continuing from the 26th of April into the next 7 years. So we get 7 years of Uranus in Gemini, which is about sudden change, instant change, fast, rapid. So we have rapid changes coming in the sign of Gemini. We have Pluto and Aquarius, which is more of a slow breakdown, followed by a breakthrough, which is transformational. So we have transformation going on now with Pluto and Aquarius till 2044. Aquarius is a fixed sign. And of course, Gemini is mutable. So we have one element on the table that's fixed. And we have a element that's mutable, it's changeable. So we have some really interesting dynamics at play. Depending upon where these planets fall in your chart, changes the message for you. If you had Uranus in Gemini in the first house, that's your identity that can be upgraded. It can also be subject to sudden changes. So we don't really know how things will play out. We can get an idea of what's ahead. And, with Pluto and Aquarius, it's the same. We can have multiple houses activated by the same energy. For instance, you are having Aquarius represent your 9th house. However, Aquarius is also on your midheaven. And then your Aries placement is the 11th house. And the 11th house belongs to Aquarius. And then, for your sign, the 12th house is also activated. So you could have Pisces individuals who have a wake-up call with Pluto and Aquarius in the 9th house of worldview, the 10th house representing your public reputation. You can have a wake-up call in the 11th Aquarius house, and then the 12th house as well. You could have some wake-up calls there. And there's just so much going on with this new era. Like we have Gemini. The traditional ruler of Gemini is the 3rd house. So we look at the Gemini energy representing the 3rd house. But for those of us who are Gemini suns or Gemini rising, you're going to have your 1st house of identity disrupted. So, it depends on your particular chart where Uranus and Gemini would have a full activation. Like, there's an activation with the transit itself, as far as the planet moving into Uranus. Having Uranus move into Gemini, there's an activation there, but where there might be disruption, true disruption would be within 6 degrees of your placement, or you look at the actual degree that you have the connection point. You know, so we're looking at what's going on in a person's astrology chart according to degrees. We have placements that are going to activate your chart. You know, trines, sextiles. You know, we're going to have squares. We're going to have things that play out on an individual plane. You know, and the collective is also receiving like an activation. You know, like we're dealing with charts on an individual level, and then the world is more complicated than that. So you figure communities are waking up. You figure the globe is waking up. The world is waking up. The collective is waking up. So there's just going to be a lot going on. People are going to have radical wake-up calls with Uranus and Gemini, with technology advancing. And then the Pluto and Aquarius activation, it's more deep transformation, where you're dealing with psychological issues, you know, that form a person, the effect a person. A person is affected by all their personal experiences. So here we have Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, bringing activations, creating change. Our world's not going to be the same. We're not going to stay the same. Technology is advancing. Then you look at the Aries energy. It's not a mistake that we had a pileup of planets in Aries, starting off this year with that powerful new moon at 27 degrees. Personally, that was the new moon in Aries sextiled my Mercury Aquarius, and that was an activation. Okay, with the times ahead, I'm aware as a Gemini rising, I have a first house activation. I have a third house activation. I've got stuff going on in my fifth house. My 11th house is very active as far as networking and, you know, learning who I want to work with now, because the old groups, we may not be with the groups we were with, you know, 20 years ago. We might be drifting away from them as we're connecting with more people. We're not limited to our original groups, our original community. Some of us may be very expansive. They may be looking at things on global levels, and maybe people are not limited to their communities and their current location. I mean, you figure with Uranus and Gemini, short distance travel is going to happen. With Pluto and Aquarius, we're dealing with long distance travel. So solving all your problems in one area is not realistic. People are going to want to travel. I mean, you look at medical and dental tourism, you look at just the need to connect with people. And depending upon your life path, like if you were called to study astrology, you're likely to be traveling, or you may have people that travel to your location as they want to meet up with you. Of course, we can always talk to anyone on the phone. You know, we can be available. We can be available through email. If anyone wanted to contact you, they would. So we have advancements in technology and the way people communicate and the way people act, and community issues, global issues. I mean, we have just, we're in a new space. We're in a new space, and you figure we have a fixed sign affected with Pluto and Aquarius, and we have a mutable sign affected with Uranus and Gemini. And you figure if your elements are mutable, you know, whether you were born under Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, you're going to feel that Uranus and Gemini. Fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, they're going to feel the Pluto and Aquarius. I mean, everyone will feel it, although people might have bigger activations. I mean, some people are going to just have direct hits or direct activations, you know, where their chart points are activated. And I've had a wake-up call with my own astrology chart. The eclipse in Aquarius was 1 degree different than my Mercury Aquarius. So I had an Aquarius placement that was affected. The blood moon eclipse, it was like still significant even without it being a direct hit. And then the other eclipses this year, they're within 6 degrees. The Pisces eclipse is within 2 degrees of my natal placement. So you figure there's some very significant things playing out with people, which indicate how their life is going to unfold and what they're going to have a desire to bring to communities and people, and to networks and individuals. You know, there's going to be those of us that do work one-on-one with people, and you know, we can be selective, you know, on what projects we take on and what we don't. You know, collaborations is going to be important. I think with Pluto and Aquarius, we have a slow breakdown. So if your old groups have broken down and you're forming new groups, there's a need for collaboration. And people are rediscovering themselves. You know, there's people that were religious who are now spiritual. There's people that were spiritual that went the direction of religion. So people are changing sides. People are changing groups. Group thinking matters, but individual thinking matters as well. So there is definitely a shift and there's a shakeup, and people can react in a variety of ways. You know, like perhaps you were more of a people pleaser and now your boundaries are stronger, and who you are as a person becomes more clear. So you figure people are changing, the world is changing, and with Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini specifically, we have people being activated, activated to change, activated to do different, to be different. So personally myself, I have some activations coming up, and I know when the specific you know, direct events will be, you know, where the, you know, like Pluto will end up on my midheaven. Pluto crosses over my generational placement. It affects my north node. It affects the way my chart is playing out. So, I mean, who you were, it's not as important as who you're becoming. You have to be on the road of becoming. You have to be on the road of choosing better, choosing different. My South Node in Aries, that's like survival experiences. Okay? That's just getting by. Pluto and Libra on the other side of it is having positive connections. So, you know, people are choosing different. They're leaving groups. They're leaving a way of life. And that's delicate. It's delicate because you have potential to do better. You have potential to heal, which so many people need that. Like if we were to get sick, like with cancer or anything else, healing becomes priority, and healing is not free. So people are going to seek out healing communities, and that's what we have ahead of us. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.